Alrighty, I think we can just about start now. I actually want to see the latency between me speaking and stream. Holy shit. That's like nothing. Alright. Okay. Just doing some final stuff and then we'll officially properly start. A few things to note. I mean, it should be obvious by my community post, but I truly did not expect it to be today. For whatever reason, my brain read 12 a.m. Sunday, and it registered that as, 12 a.m. like Sunday night, not tonight, which technically counts as Sunday, of course. So, that was interesting, but we're here for real now. We get to actually stream it. I was worried, actually, because if we did this tomorrow, or rather if this happened tomorrow, I would not be able to do it. And because we're doing it today, that's super nice, because now I actually get to stream it and everything. There was also a chance I was just going to record for it instead, but I decided why not live stream. I mean, there might not be interesting stuff announced. There's a chance. There's also going to be stuff here and there that I have zero interest in because, it's not immediately Re:Zero or more so, there's other stuff that's going to be there and everything. So, overall, there'll be a little bit of some boring bits here and there, but I still think we can probably get a good reaction on this, because, I feel like they'll announce something good. I've mentioned it before, but I'm expecting either a adaptation of Arc 5 announced, some sort of OVA, or a new game or something. And of course, merch. Obviously they're going to announce merch. But there's stuff here and there that I'm definitely expecting. And I'd say those are the big ones that I kind of expect out of this. Of course, I'm also expecting the idea that we get nothing, really, in terms of something cool and all that, right? I'm expecting that type of idea. And we could get stuff like that, but it's not super huge or anything. It could be some shit here's another visual novel or something at for the price of a AAA game or some shit. That'd be a little bit unfortunate, mostly just because that shit is way too overpriced, honestly. But yeah, I think we are good to go. I don't even know if I have to start a Photoshop type of thing or anything, because I mentioned that I might do that. But I don't know that I'm entirely going to do that. Make sure my camera's good, for the most part. I think I can just switch it over. Honestly, I don't know why I have Streamlabs on the other tab, and I don't really know why I did that fully. Because that doesn't help me very much. I'll put this there. That's what I'll do. Okay, where did I did it here. Yeah, there we go. Sick. Alright. So this looks good overall, I'd say. I forgot I'm not using this camera. I'm using this one right here because this one's better. Alright. So it should be good. Hopefully everything's sorted out nicely. One thing to note, of course, is I'm not going to have volume on the stream because I don't know if it is copyrighted. I could do volume, but we'd have to put it low, right? At least I feel we'd have to put it probably pretty low. You know what, we can do volume, but I'd have to make it super low, there. That might work. Do I have any good way of testing this? I can't see my sidebar, so no, I do not. I will say, depending on what they decide to start with, pretty much determines how long the stream is going on for. If we have to do the entire fucking stream, then so be it, right? I'll work on other stuff and all that. And if, you know, if it's like immediate, right? We get it almost immediately and everything. I mean, that works, right? But that does mean this stream will probably be pretty short, other than the fact that I might stick around for certain things and everything. And I might analyze some stuff here and there and all that if there's like a trailer for something. I wanted to actually go to my channel because I want to make a community post. This is the wrong tab for that. I'm now realizing because I had a specific tab. So yeah, now it's just a matter of waiting. That's all it is. Oh my god! Why is there an ad? What is the ad coming from? Am I blind? Oh, it's here. Oh. Oh, are we starting with it? Alright. Let me make sure it's picking it up. Oh my god, yeah, that's what it's doing. That's why it's not picking up. Okay, so that is extremely low. But I think that's the best we're getting. Alright. Let me make sure the whole thing's good. Looks good, looks good. Why does it say YouTube Premium? Is one of the overlays stuck on a ad? I'm actually confused on why that says YouTube Premium. You know what? We'll just use this one. I had that one just in case. Oh, it's coming from the browser source. That's why it was so loud. We'll turn this one up. Why is it like an uneven number? Alright. Yeah, I was gonna make a community post. Guess I will do that via my phone, because I'd rather not do that via the computer, especially if we're starting with it. One's a little bit too low. Tab back in, there we go. What volume do I have it at? 55? Okay, so remember, when we actually get to something important, I'll put it at 55. But till then, I don't really see a reason to properly have it that high, especially because I don't think they have... Yeah, they don't, so, we're just gonna have to take guesses for this, but that's fine. That's fine. And really, we're here because trailers and shit like that. I mean, we're here also because, you know, at the end of the day, this counts as a recording. In fact, I should have actually started recording, but you know what? I can download the stream after, at least I should be able to. If I feel like a trailer's coming up or something like that, I might record, I don't know. we'll see. I didn't mean to click that now. OBS is gonna be all fucky with that. There, very simple community post, but there we go. It works. Yeah, I was gonna do thumbnails and everything like that before we started, but seeing as I started kind of late a little bit, don't really feel like we had to, so. Glad my earphones or earbuds occasionally just desync. That's real cool. But I mean, it's whatever. It's like a very split second. Just wanted to check some shit real quick. Alright. I want to work on thumbnails to wait and everything and just like chill and stuff, but like, I don't know. We have like 4 minutes actually, because I didn't even fully take in that it's at that hour. I'm glad they're starting with it though. That means we don't have to be here for long. Which is not to say, you know, I'm not really like, oh, comfortable or some shit streaming for a while. I totally am. And I like genuinely can do this type of shit for a while. Because I mean, shit, back when I was doing streaming like twice or 3 times a week, I was doing it for like 5 hours. Albeit I got tired, you know, the last hour or two. But, I don't know, I will say, you know, not much else to say about anything else here, so it's kind of great that they're starting with it, just in case something gets announced. I do hope there's a trailer, if anything. Because if not, I'm going to be honest, I might take this out of the playlist. If there's a trailer for nothing at all, or anything like this, or like anything like that, I might take it out of a few of the playlists, other than the like streams one. Might say in the watching one, but like honestly, I don't even know if I will keep it on the streams one if like that's the case, because as much as, you know, it'd be nice to have all this stuff archived, I wouldn't see the incentive. So, because it would be literally just a nothing stream where I'm just talking and then there's this. But I do hope we get a trailer of some kind. I don't know how previous events have been, if they've just announced stuff and then simply, you know, went on from there, but I guess it's starting soon. Alright, I do want to, just in case, have Twitter open or something like that, so that I can get info immediately. In case there is anything to get info off of. So I'm just gonna have my phone open and ready. Alright. I'm curious if I can very quickly, in this tab here, do that. It should open it here, right? Oh, it might actually play. It's like hearable. From what I can tell, this is hearable. Wait, no it isn't, actually, because I turned it down. It'll be hearable. Or audible, sorry. Brain tired right now. But it'll be audible when the time comes for something to listen to. Or rather, you know, something proper, because... Let's turn that down because that's too loud. I don't like this anymore. Alright, so I'm just gonna I'm essentially just gonna wait and see if we get trailers or anything. Okay, so this will be an hour. So at the very least, we'll be here for an hour. If that's the case, they might announce something. Like, they'll probably do interviews and stuff like that, and maybe some questions. But they really might announce some shit, and I'm excited for the idea of that. It's nice that we get to start off with it. You'd think it'd be something that they might save till the end, but they're not. They're just going right for it. That's interesting. Alright. I do hope for some interesting... Oh, he's wearing this... This is way louder than I thought. The music was way quieter than that. Yeah, whatever. I'll turn it up if I see something, of course. And they're really giving the Child Amelia even more merch. Because I recently saw like a tweet about that, merch they're giving her, and now even more. That's a neat shirt, though. I can't lie. It's actually like nice. I like the coloring on it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so this is probably just gonna be an introduction section, and we're gonna have to wait a while till we actually get anything at all. That's fine. We'll wait. I wish I didn't have to, like... The screen's actually too dark that I'm using OBS for. And I don't think I can adjust the brightness on it. No, I cannot. Oh, that's fun. We'll just have to deal with that. I'm tabbed in, right? Okay. Just so I know, in case we have to turn it up at any point. Oof. It's definitely a nervous feeling I have right now, because there's a lot of possible scenarios for this. There's the stuff I mentioned at the start of what we could possibly get. There's a chance we get nothing, and then this is honestly just me sitting here for an hour speaking to all of you while this plays. And yeah, like I said, I might just unlist the video entirely, like remove it from playlists and shit, with the exception maybe of the stream playlist, because it's like, I don't know, that's a stream playlist. I guess we have done streams in the past where I wasn't really super into what was going on or some type of shit like that, where it's just still there and everything, even though there's the idea that this is just merch. That'd be horrifying, but I definitely think, in my personal opinion, there probably will be something. Like, maybe I'm crazy for thinking that. But I feel as though it's a little bit odd to hold this panel, this big one, right, for the series and all this shit, hour long at that, and not do anything. Oh, I didn't even notice the butterfly. That's neat. And not do pretty much anything from there. That's a little bit odd if that's the case. But I do hope we get something out of this. I'm kind of hoping, right? We might not, right? And I'm like trying to fully anticipate myself for the idea that this could be absolutely nothing. But I do like the idea, of course, of just like, oh, shit, we get some cool announcement out of this. And obviously the whole big thing of like, I'm holding the series as my second favorite and all that. Obviously, it's fair to have excited expectations and stuff like that. That actually reminds me of, there was just like a neat thing to point out, I guess. I remember there was a Fist of the North Star project that was announced for 2020 at some point. 2020 in a vague type of way, as in it could be literally at the very end of the year, or like decade more so. And it was just like some project they were working on, and we've still yet to get shit on it. It's not like a pachinko machine like people expected or anything. It is just an unknown project that we're waiting on. We don't know if it's an anime type of thing or anything like that. And it's neat to get that type of announcement, right? But it also sucks because it's like, damn, we have no clue what it is. And I will say, with that series being my absolute highest, that really sucks for me. Because it's like, damn, I want to know more about what this project is. It looks nice, but I don't get to see it, right? It's a similar thing to this, where it's like, I want to be excited for the idea of some big announcement that comes out of it or some shit, and it could be nothing. And I'm trying to anticipate that, but it's like, right? I definitely want to see something. Shit, I'm even similar with other series like One Piece and stuff like that, where it's like I'll see a One Piece live stream and I'll be like, oh, they'll probably announce something big here, and for the most part, they do, or at least recently they do. I mean, obviously, they're like advertising Film Red and everything right now, so logically, that would happen and everything. That would make sense. But, you know, overall, what I'm trying to say is I do kind of hope for something, even if I'm trying to fully expect nothing. And from what I've heard, there was an event last year or some shit like that, and there was just nothing out of that. I'm really trying to think of like if I heard anything about that one last year, but other than like merch announcements, I think there was nothing. I'm just trying, you know, if I'm being real here, I'm trying to take up the time because this is, I'm going to assume the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something is just going to be talking. So we're replacing their talking with me. A downgrade, honestly, but you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I guess other things I can speak about is, and I mean, I talked about this in a video. It should be obvious what video it is. Or like generally obvious, I'd say. But if for whatever reason we do get Arc 5 adapted, like, you know, the announcement of it, some shit, trailer, whatever it may be, it's a weird blend for me right now where I'm nervous and I'm also excited for something like that. Because, you know, it's that balance of seeing characters animated, cut content, seeing or like hearing the voices and stuff, and seeing some pretty cool animation. The con of some shit might play out differently, and stuff like that, because I know some arcs were like that. Or one specifically, out of, you know, what's been adapted and all that. I guess that's just isekai quartet type of shit, or something like that, just isekai stuff. Okay, that's whatever. But yeah, like, it's shit like that, where it's like the back and forth, like, right now I generally don't know how to feel properly, because there's a lot of exciting stuff with the idea of an Arc 5 adaptation. There's a lot of, like, scary stuff with that and everything. I will say, the closer... I mean, okay, two things. One, Arc 5 being animated does excite me, because a big part of Arc 5 is there's a lot of fights and everything. And I gotta give them credit, right? I gotta give White Fox credit here. While I think they're occasionally so-so with adapting some of the stories and everything like that, oh, that's the Blu-ray. That's odd. Okay. Oh, that's the second season. Okay. A little bit of a weird, like, that format of it, like, threw me off and everything. Oh, hey, there's the new volumes and shit like that. I still gotta finish fucking reading that one. I'm probably actually gonna continue that tonight. Is it a spoiler if I say it here? because I don't know if I should. You know what? We'll do it anyways. Fuck it. We'll say it here. Uh, I'll give a signal if somebody's watching this in the future and the video is like obviously still up and everything, or you're watching it via the streams. I'll give a signal. I'll do this to pretty much avoid, the spoilers. So I'll do this when you can unmute. So I'd recommend muting now if you're an anime only, like watching this in the future or some type of shit, or even possibly, well, I guess not jumping into it, because if you're jumping into the stream, then you're just hearing me mid-sentence or some shit like that. But that moment that was on screen there, or not moment, but I guess the volume, and then also the side story. But that side story specifically, the cover art of it, right? And how it relates to that volume there. I've yet to get to that moment, right? I mentioned that I would make a follow-up video if I did not enjoy what was going on there. And that still kind of stays true, I won't lie. Here's the thing. I've heard some great shit about the later stuff of Arc 7. I've heard about some stuff going on right now with it that I'm very excited to read. I think we're only one chapter translated of what is essentially Phase 6 of Volume 6. But, regardless, I'm excited to read that. Here's the thing. I know about that moment, though, with Phase 5 and the Volume 5 of Arc 7, right? But, Volume 30 in total, all that. I know about that whole fight and everything. And without context, I'm not sure how I feel about somebody like Emilia being there at that moment and everything. I need context, of course, and everything. But it's damn. I need a good-ass explanation for this, because I might be upset if not. They are, in fact, showing merch on screen, but, none of this really matters to me. Actually, you know what? No, I got an idea. Puck hat. Puck bucket hat. Actually, wait, if they're announcing hats and shit, you know what? Fuck messaging him. Or, I'll do it on my phone. Right, going back to what I was saying. That was not a signal to unmute. If anybody did unmute and anything like that, mute. But yeah, so that fight and everything, without context, I'm gonna need a good explanation why Emilia's there, because if not, right, if there's no good explanation, I don't think I'm gonna be very happy about that moment, right? I think that will legitimately be a flaw of Arc 7. Now, I haven't seen many people complaining, so I think that's good news. But, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if they're video calling Emilia's via or some shit like that, or if they're calling her. I don't know. I'll wait to text them, because I'm gonna get caught up in my fonts and everything, and then it's gonna be a mixture of me saying shit and then typing shit. It depends on how they handle that situation, but overall, I think it'll be okay, because I've seen some people just overall saying that was neat and everything. When I do know that when the chapter first came out and everything, or roughly around that time, when I was translated, I saw some threads and stuff like that, and stuff on Twitter about people not being too happy, but that seemed to have died down shortly after. I'm assuming because there was a good explanation there, or some shit. So overall, I'm nervous, but I think it'll be okay, hopefully. And I think I'll enjoy the rest of Arc 7 and what's to come. And I'm excited to see what's to come. It seems like it's going to be real interesting. I very much want to get to those new chapters. They seem really fucking cool. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Alright, anyways. There's a signal. Yeah. That's all I want to say about that. Let me quickly type something. Okay. Um, I mentioned that whole thing, and now I'm just like confused on what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Um, I'm simply just waiting for like actual merch that interests me. Ugh. Oh, I can read that. Damn, I was right that it really is just questions and then answering stuff. Um, all right. How do we fill the void of time now? Uh, I'm like scared to put. I don't think it'll. No, it might because that's desktop audio. Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna click that, and then I'll go here, and then we'll go here. All right, that was pretty good. Unmute that. No. Okay, we're still good. uh, Something was said and that surprised them. I don't know what they said. I don't know what's happening. Nor would I understand if I had the volume on, but you know, it doesn't make much of a difference. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I guess we simply just keep waiting. Oh boy. It's like I ran out of shit to talk about. It's like, all right, we've been bricked. I've bricked myself and no longer know where we're going with this. Alrighty. Just wanted to double check. Alright. Whew. Eventually we'll get to the course. I mean, okay. On a real, or I guess more real note, like we are 20 minutes in, we've shockingly gone past, I'm going to say one merch announcement, because I expect more. I fully expect more. I don't think that was the end of the merch, especially with a series like this. Don't think that was the end of the merch. But you know what? We got past a merch announcement, and the introductions were pretty short, and now we're just doing Q&A stuff. We still got, like, assuming Q&A shit is like, I don't know, 10 minutes or 10 more minutes. That's like half an hour, right? That's half an hour of whatever else. If not, you know what? Actually, I can make this stream kind of worth it. You know what? I got an idea. In case nothing happens, I got an idea. I'll make a community post, just in case. Maybe not. Maybe it'll just be a secret thing for on stream and everything. But I can make this worth it. You know what? Fuck it. Because I realized I had something to put onto the channel and everything by the end of this stream. But I can take it one step further. Mostly if we just have nothing out of this, I'll take it one step further. If not, then yeah, you know, like overall what I mean, I'm getting confused by my own words because I'm trying to think about this shit and everything. Overall what I mean is, if there's something worth it to just like talk about and analyze and all that and react to, then I think I will just put up the thing that I have to put up, and you know, we won't actually show anything. Whereas if there's nothing to like speak about or anything, I'm just gonna like show it on stream. So that'll be interesting. Or at least it should be. At least it should be. Oh boy. It's weird. This feels like it's 100 times longer than it like it is or anything. Like really, 22 minutes have passed. But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've been sitting here for an hour. It's not even like announcement wise or anything. It's just more so like, I guess everything going by just makes it feel like that and everything. And I know this is a standard type of thing for these types of events and all that. But it does feel like that. Actually, you know what? Funny little story time. The worst absolute one. I don't even know if I recorded it. I might have. You know what? I'm curious now. Is my mouse going to work? Did I record it? I don't know if I did. Shit, did I record it? I might not have, but I guess interesting little story time is, when the fuck was that event? The big JoJo event I remember they had. It was like, you know, they had all 5 of the, you know, like main character voices, right? And overall, it seemed obvious of like, okay, we're gonna get a part 6 announcement or some shit like that, right? That was the obvious thing. So me and my friends just in VC were watching it and shit like that. And the thing with that event, right, is we got the reveal by the end, which was nice. I was happy because it was like, you know what? I've been kind of dying to reread or like go through part 6 again, because I feel like when I first went through it, I was kind of harsh on it and everything. So I'm like, you know what? I hope they announce it or some shit, because then I get to go through it again and all that. Um, and we got that by the end. Unfortunate how Netflix decided to handle the series, but you know, sucks, I guess. I am not gonna watch it at all though, or like at least I watched about 4 episodes, and then I stopped, mostly because I was watching with friends, and then we just stopped after that, and then they all watched either separately or stopped watching. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna continue until that shit is done. But anyways, the main point of this was the fact that I remember with that event, that was the actual worst um, event that I've just had to sit through and wait for an announcement or some shit, or anything like that, right? Anything that I could possibly grasp out of it, because it started at like 11 p.m. or like 12 a.m. some shit like that, and it just went on. I don't even think Part 6 got announced until like 6:20 a.m. I stayed up that long. Um, did I feel like it was worth it? Like I don't know. Because on the one hand, I was excited, right? But on the other hand, I'm like, dude, I could have gone to bed at a reasonable time, woken up at 6, and then I would see the announcement. I would see the announcement like 10 minutes after I woke up. And it's like, that would be sick, right? That would have been sick. Um, Instead, I slept half that like next day away, essentially. So that kind of sucked. But it's like, yeah, I got the Part 6 announcement out of it, but at what cost? And it's like, I think that was the absolute worst one. Whereas something like this, where it's like, okay, we at least know it's going to be an hour long. That does, like, worry me a bit in terms of, like, shit. Like, is there going to be a very little amount of stuff announced here? But I don't know what that is. Um, I'm not smart enough or well knowledge enough to know what this shit is. I have actually seen that outfit on Twitter and everything, so I guess it's part of one of the gotcha games or some shit. Um, and that's just like a new outfit that they gave her, or something like that. Um, yeah, but it is a little bit worrying, almost like that. It's like, oh, like an hour long. How much will be announced there? But it is also nice because then I don't have to stay here for too long and wait for something that might not come, or something like that. Um, it's nicer that way than having the. I like. It's weird to say, but I would rather have the alternative where I wait an hour and get nothing. In terms of like something like this, right, or any other series, versus the like thing I just mentioned with the JoJo event, where it was like 7 hours, started like at midnight or like an hour before midnight, 7 hours until that announcement, and it's like that was the worst. I think like a part of what made that announcement actually kind of boring was just like, what was it? I think they had there was like the top like scenes that each character had, and they put like they played the like third place one and the second place one, but then the first place they had the VAs like reenact, and that works to like that. Like the first one's interesting, right? Because it's like, oh, reenacting the scene, right? Like doing the voiceover and all that. Like that's neat. The other two are weird though, because it's just like you're just playing the clip. You are just giving us the clip. We've seen the show, and I would think I get it. Like you're showing it for the sake of it's one of the most popular and all that. But it was like, man, I don't need to see it again. I don't need to waste that because that spent like fucking an hour or two just like doing that whole. They spent an hour or two doing that whole shit. It was like kind of awful because it was just like I like the voice acting parts of it. That's interesting. I like seeing VAs like redo certain lines or something, see if they can like perfectly hit it again or maybe even go higher with it. Like speaking of JoJo, I actually remember seeing a clip of Diavolo's VA redoing like one of the scenes towards the end, and he does a fantastic job, like so much so that I would almost say it's better. Um, they were pointing at it. I didn't know if something was coming. Um, but it's like the voiceover stuff is neat, but it's when it's just like here's a clip out of the anime, and that takes up, you know, 5 minutes, maybe more in terms of time, and now it's like, okay, we're going to be doing this multiple times to the point that it will at least take up an hour, and they'll be talking in between and everything like that. So it really does equate to that amount of time. Are they? I guess they're drawing. I guess that's what we're doing now. We're drawing. That works. Actually, I just realized now, but the Q&A stuff actually lasted a lot less time than I thought, because I said 10 minutes, and that was like 5 more minutes. So you know what? That was shorter than I thought. Albeit they're still doing stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Really, I think that event could have been done better and everything. And like, I'm gonna have a crazy thing to almost say here about that event. I got worried I almost unplugged this shit. I'm gonna have a crazy statement to say about that one live event, and it was the fact that they had you pay for it in terms of watching it. I remember, and there's so many problems to me with the idea of that, and I get that they need, you know, the money for this type of thing. This is supposed to be a big event where people, you know, fill the audience or some shit like that, but it's like, of course, with COVID and everything, it's kind of hard to do so. Or at least, you know, it definitely was during that time. But it's just like that there was a bunch of things. It was like, okay, we're gonna make it for everybody, right? They're gonna make it available for everybody. You'd get closed captions, all like shit like that. They did that, but the closed captions were automated, so they sucked. By the way, I think you were like paying $50, maybe more, for this, so that was real cool. I don't think it was anything lower than that. I think it was like $50 or higher. I might be wrong. Like I might be misremembering that, but I think it was something like that. So it's like closed captions. Like I mentioned, it lasted 7 hours, and the last hour is what really mattered. Which, like, not to say, like, you know, screw them for trying to make some sort of entertainment, but it's like 7 hours, the actual entertainment value of it could be better. Like, as much as it's like, you know, something like this is happening, I will say they're doing stuff that, even though I can't understand it, I can tell this would be entertaining overall for people watching, right? But with that, it wasn't like, there wasn't a whole lot of that, right? It was just like a whole bunch of shit of like, it was like absurdly expensive, captions were automated, all that shit. It was like a whole list of stuff that was really bad about it. And they were getting upset, or at least I know like the English Twitter or whatever was getting, like the English intern they probably had in, I was getting upset about it. Because like, oh, people are essentially streaming this to their friends, they're streaming it to other people and all that shit. And it's like, in a way, I do of course see that being wrong and everything, of course. And I think obviously, like, you know, overall people should be kind of paying for their tickets and stuff like that. But when you make your event like that, it's not really, I'm going to say, like, the best look. Like, the perfect example, actually, just so happens to be the event they followed it up with, where that shit was, like, what was it? It was the actual event where they showed off a trailer for Part 6, and it actually had proper closed captions. It was free, also free to watch, and just a whole bunch of shit, like it was optimized, everything like that. And it's like, wow, this one was free, had closed captions, all this, it was good, but this one that people had to pay for sucked. I don't necessarily blame people for going and watching it via streams and shit like that, because, gotta be honest, why would you pay money for that? Why would you pay money for a horrible experience like that? It's I don't know, it's some wild shit to me. Also, I didn't realize I had something a little bit fucked up for a moment on my tab. Yeah, I don't know. I think that shit could be better. And I think that's the problem overall sometimes with certain live events is it's not an insanely hard task, but if you're gonna go on for something like that long, you gotta keep it entertaining and shit like that. I mean, in general, you should. But with something like this, it's only an hour long. I'm shocked that this, me saying this has only been 5 minutes. I honestly felt like it was more. I guess they're just saying shit for the gotcha game. That's fine. They'll probably have some bigger stuff soon, I would assume. Like, genuinely. There probably will be some bigger merch and all that stuff, like, soon. Like I said, if we end off with pretty much nothing, I'll give a proper send-off to this stream. Which will be awkward in the playlist, but it'll be fine. But I mean, hey, if we get something, you know what? All of you are waiting. But yeah, it'll be a secret little thing for this stream. For those who get to watch it early. But yeah, I think that'll make up for the idea that we might be just sitting here doing nothing for a whole hour. In fact, how long have we been going? We actually already had been going for an hour. I guess it would just be an hour and a half then, but that's whatever. Oh boy. Alright. I actually want to make sure. I want to double check that I do have that ready. Because if I have that special, I keep hovering over the video. If we have that special little gift ready, then of course we can totally show it on stream. I just have to make sure I have it. Let's see. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? There it is. I want to move that to a different location. Let's move it to... Yeah, screw it. I'll move it to my OBS folder. That's where I'll move it. There we go. Alright. So yeah, I'll have a nice little GIF. I just realized I clicked on the Chrome tab. I don't know if that fucked over the volume. We're good on volume. No worries about that. Alright. I guess actually, now that I think about it, the stream is in the community posts. So technically speaking, if they don't show anything in that, I have to put on the gift. Yeah. I almost thought I said GIF. I'm like, alright, yep, the entire GIF that we're putting on for a large amount of time. Oh my god, I just realized how long that gift will be, but that's fine. Yeah, if I'm putting that on and everything, somebody could very easily see it via the channel, which is fine. Let me just check some shit. Alright, just wanted to make sure of some stuff. Yeah, I guess that means the stream's gonna go on for longer than I thought if we get nothing out of this. But if we do, then I'll still put that gift in there, but we'll do it in a separate, less big way and everything. Mostly because I'm probably going to spend more time streaming than if we do get something, because I probably want to analyze shit, depending on what happens. And I mean, if something does get announced, but there's no real like trailer or anything like that. I mean, I guess maybe then I should actually also put the gift into the stream, because I guess there isn't really I'm gonna say like correct option in that scenario. You know what I mean? Because then something big would be announced, but also that they're still going on about the gotcha game, aren't they? Or something like that. We got like 20 minutes left. Oh boy. I mean, that's still obviously enough time to announce shit, because, I mean, considering how much was already packed into the first 20 minutes, or, like, how much stuff they were doing in the first 20 minutes, you know, we still got some time. But it certainly is a little nerve-wracking. Oh, man. I keep making that exclamation, but mostly it's just because, like, well, like I said at the start, it's this constant state of I'm excited but also worried, and they're standing up. Why are they standing up? Why are they standing up? Are they gonna... Was that translate too? Just gonna have my hand over the arrow just to be sure that there's nothing. Just gonna make sure that there's nothing. Just gonna take my phone, open Twitter, and make sure there's nothing. They're disappearing. I turned it up because I don't know what I'm doing, or like what's going on. But I also don't know if I should keep it up. So I turned it back down. I'll give it a minute. I'll give it a minute, and that's when I'll do something. Okay, that is just sound effects. I wanted to make sure that was just sound effects. Cool. Sick. Alright. Glad that's glad that that's what that whole sequence was. Just making absolutely sure there's nothing. Nothing for the moment, from what it seems like. I will say that legitimately got me nervous. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I see a door opening and I see shit like that. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is happening? I don't know what this means in terms of any media or anything we're getting, or anything like that, right? That was real confusing to me. Got me real nervous. If somehow that was their intention, they did a fantastic job. I will say, I partially kind of want to know if that one bet I made with the Arc 5 video and everything, like, with some pals of mine and everything, I kind of would want to know the result of it, right? It could end horribly for me, depending on how it goes. But man, I kind of want to know, right? It's that weird thing of, I don't want to be in a stalemate right now, I want to know. If I'm, like, completely getting fucked over, or if I am in absolute profit, like I claim to be, when it just comes to predicting shit for shit I enjoy. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see if by the end of this we have anything to go off of with that. Ugh. We got equivalent to 16 minutes left. Alright. I wish I did have an understanding of what's going on. It's not even like the volume would help or anything. It's just very fucking confusing right now, of course, from somebody who cannot read, cannot speak the language, anything like that. Which I fully expected going into it. And I knew this wasn't going to have any English, like, captions or anything like that. Like, any captions at all. I'm shocked. Oh, wait, oh, shit, I got DM'd. I forgot I have my stream mode on. Actually, just keep that open. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to see if I am right about everything. I will say, like, I'm kind of shocked they started off with this, because I know this would, at least from what I feel, would be the biggest incentive for people and everything. But, like, I don't know, I feel like this would almost be something they saved till the end, right? Or, like, more so, like, saving ReZero to the very end, rather than other series. I'm not falling for it again. You got me once. Fooled me once, shame on me. But it's not happening again. I guess this is just like drawings with like stuff around. Because like, it's just autos out there and everything, so I'm assuming it's just drawings with stuff around. Really is a weird feeling to have that, like, I know I keep bringing it up, but it is a weird feeling to have that constant urge of like hoping something doesn't get announced in a way because of like, for the sake of quality and all that. Just more time to bake, right, essentially, for the series, but then at the same time it's like that weird feeling where it's like I want to see shit animated. I kind of like the idea of that. I'm just like constantly in that limbo now. It's weird to say, but like I think what might genuinely solve that feeling is like the idea of either like confirm just we're waiting, right? We're waiting a while, or we get shit animated, but it's like it's done correctly. And that sounds stupid with the way I'm wording that, but more so like stuff gets animated and it's done correctly, and it like looks good. It doesn't have much cut out, all that. Cut out Liliana. But like everything overall forms correctly with it, and I think that could maybe take away that tension I would have with this type of feeling, right? And of course, like a problem arises with something like Arc 6 because Arc 6 is long, it's jam-packed with shit and everything. But it's more so the idea that if they do well from that point onward, right? Like if they work on the next season, they do well from that point onward, I think I will have less of that tension within me. I think the main reason I have this tension is because, shit hasn't necessarily worked out well for the series a whole lot. I will say, after going through the series again and everything, Arc 4 had cut out shit, and it was definitely bad with that degree, but it's like, second half wise, it wasn't too bad or anything. Or, like, I mean, it was bad, but, like, it wasn't the worst out of the whole series, right? I think we've had worse and everything. You're not fooling me again with this shit. Um, Obviously, it's just going to go into another drawing type of thing where they're going to guess the character or something like that. Um, but I'm going to, like, be speaking here, and then there's going to be something that comes on screen that's just like, I mean, I said it. Um, but what was I fucking going on about? Um, that threw me so off. I don't even remember what I was talking about anymore. Um, let me try and recall my thoughts here. Um, yeah, I will say Arc 4 wasn't great with how it was adapted, but at the very least, with Part 2 and everything, I think overall, it generally was the best out of what we've gotten, with the exclusion of Arcs 1 and 2, but those are not hard to adapt. They're short. I would actually make fun of White Fox even more if they had trouble adapting that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think for, like, shit could work out for it, for the series and everything. Um, I'm sure they've gotten feedback after what's happened, right? And really, something else to note is the whole thing of, like, from what I understand, they're hiring more people. Like, they've been getting more people into their proper studio and everything, right? Like, out of the info I've seen, and I'm taking it with a grain of salt because this is just shit you can see people saying online, so it might be correct, it might not. Um, but it overall generally seems, and I will say, I mean, the director's been talking about the fact that they've been working on some sort of next season or some shit like that. Um, it definitely seems like we're, getting to the point of, like, a proper next season. There's people on the, like, staff and everything ready to work. I don't know how many people they have. I know they've been a little bit short because of people moving around and doing other stuff and all that. I just realized he did the line. Um, I should have turned it up for that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Overall, I think things could work out, but it's just a matter of how shit gets handled. Like, really, it's silly to word it like that, but I think it's really just like White Fox has to essentially pick a route. They have to pick a route, and I think that could work with the series, and it'll all be good. But if we get this just rushed out, no time at all, no time to bake type of thing of an adaptation that doesn't really cover everything that's in there, obviously we then have a problem and all that. We have 7 minutes left. I think I might have to put the thing on stream. We might have to do. Oh, they're back there. They're back. They're done with that. They are done with that. Okay. I guess I didn't really talk about it, but an interesting, like, OVA shit to get would definitely be some of the EX novels. Maybe not the ones that involve Arc 7 stuff, at least not yet, because I don't feel like those are necessary just yet. Honestly, for something like that, I would almost say, like, before Arc 6, because of certain things. But yeah, definitely it would be interesting to get, like, the Wilhelm story stuff, or even the stuff with, like, Krush and all that. That'd be neat. I do really like those EX novels, especially like Oddly the Crucial one. I remember like just reading that and being like, damn, I'm like, it was a weird like feeling of like I'm glad I'm done. You know, I got to experience that whole thing. I want to go through it again. um, I don't think I would just yet though, because you know I like to have something more fresh and like new to my mind than going through something again, right? In terms of a series, right? If I'm like going through it, um, overall, that's generally how I feel. I mean, with some exceptions, because I guess like Fist of the North Star, I've rewatched countless times and I've read it and all that shit, and it's like I didn't honestly fucking see the prequel series Fist of the Blue Sky, like the reading it. I didn't read it until like earlier this year, so it was like damn, you know. And I've been into the series for a while, and I didn't do that shit till earlier this year because I just like I don't know, I just didn't feel like it, I guess, and that shit was up for a while, but I just never bothered. Um, yeah, so like there's some exceptions to that rule, but it's definitely for something that is a novel. I don't know that I want to go through anything like over again, right? Um, that's definitely why I wanted to wait like a large amount of time for reading through like arcs 1 and 3 and then like you know arc 4 and all that. I wanted to wait till I was pretty much you know done the what ifs, done the like 5, 6, 7 EXs, all that, so that it's like okay, there's nothing left overall in terms of like the bigger stuff, right? The bigger proper volume stuff. Um, so with that, you know, I can like move on to the more uh, uh, experienced field of stuff, but like now experience it again in a different way. Um, and that's kind of how I feel, you know. Now once again with the EX, it's like you know this new stuff to experience with arc 1 to 3 and like arc 4, and all this shit, and at arc 7 that I still gotta get fully caught up on. That it's just like, yeah, I don't care too much about rereading stuff right now. Even like stuff like arc 5 and 6, which I would love to almost reread in a way because I love those arcs. I don't want to because it's like no, I think I'll wait. I enjoyed reading through them, and now I'll just simply wait to do so. There's about 3 minutes left, so if there's nothing here, there was shockingly like very little amount of merch. I didn't think. I said like the one merch announcement. I'm like, oh, they'll surely do more. They didn't do more. we did not get more. That was it. They're waving and stuff. I think that might be it. I went in anticipating not much, but man, I'm not gonna lie. I almost feel like I got less. I'm not gonna lie. And this is like, this year's the 10th anniversary for the series. But maybe I could be surprised here before it ends. Maybe I should check Twitter to be sure that nothing that was untranslated or anything like that, went wrong or something. Just gotta make sure. Okay. Nothing got really translated differently or anything like that. I guess that might be partially why I did actually almost like slightly anticipate some shit, is just because like damn, that, oh my god, that is 10th anniversary for the series, by the way. I mean, like I said, I wasn't anticipating much to a degree, but like, yeah, they really didn't. Yeah, they really. That was one. Like, I don't want to complain because I wasn't anticipating anything, but like, it was one merch announcement, couple of questions, gotcha game shit. I think that's what that stuff was. And I guess that's it. I guess we're done. Is that it? Are we? I really might have to put this shit on then, because I am not leaving this shit empty-handed. I'm not letting this stream die out like this badly. I just want to like double check. Yeah, that was it. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay. So, in that case, I'm doing something early for the stream. Cause fuck it. Where is it? I'm going to play this entire thing here. I'm gonna like just go do my own thing. And for the time being, but I will play this entire thing here. Because that is what I'm doing. That was like... How is it that I went in anticipating nothing and got even less? Like, at the very least, my minimum bar was like merch I could buy. And I mean, I guess there was merch. But do you think any of that was interesting in terms of merch? Genuinely. Like, alright. Alright, we gotta resort to something, alright. Okay. So, I'm going to play something now. And I will just play the entire thing here. Just as a fun little gift. In case anybody sees this stream now. Or before, what Saturday? The 30th? The 30th. Man, there's gonna be some poorly aged stuff there. There's gonna be some real poorly aged stuff. Oh boy. I'm just gonna play this. And it'll be here before the 30th. Just on this stream. Because fuck it. And, yeah, I don't have much else to say. I'm just now going to load it up. And hopefully it works correctly. I just gotta remember how to do this correctly. Because I think it is... What is it? Media source? Yeah, media source. That's what it is. Oh, man. Okay. So I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to mute myself. And I'm just going to let it play. So, I guess that's it. Thank you all for, like, everybody who may have joined here and there. That was kind of a waste of time. Well, anyways, I'll try and make it worth it with this. So, yeah, see you all on the 30th, I guess. Or maybe not, because if you're watching this just as is, yeah. I can't play WMVs in that. So you know what we're gonna do instead? We're going to display capture. That's what we're going to do. We're going to display capture. Yeah. Or not display capture, but more so, we're just going to essentially... that was loud. I'm going to essentially just fucking share the window. And... boy. Why can I not show off the window? Alright, new strat. Because I don't give up easily. This is what we're doing instead. This might go wrong because I realized what this could show and everything. So, or like I know it could show OBS and all that. So let's go here. So we want display capture. No, yeah, I think it might be showing this, but what we want is, there we go, fantastic. Don't capture the cursor. Alright, good, that's great. What the fuck is going on with me? Why'd this appear out of nowhere? Oh, because the camera. Because the camera's up there. Oh, because... Oh, I see. I get it now. Alright. So to make up for this entire fucking wasted time, let me crop this out a bit so that we don't have too much. Just extra stuff. Let's crop it a bit. That works. Sick. Actually, no, I might need to do that a bit more. But to make up for all that wasted time, I would like to present to all of you a nice video that I'm sure some people have been waiting for, and you're just gonna get it early. So yeah, that's technically it. I'm just gonna play this, and we're just gonna make up for all that time. Let me unmute the desktop audio so you can hear it. Hopefully it's not too loud. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. Hope you all enjoy. See you the 30th, I guess, if people don't watch it via this way. And then I'll have an update video out next week. But yeah, that's all. Take care. Have yourselves a good night, peeps, and time to hit play. Alright, everybody, welcome to the ReZero Arcs 1 to 3 review, where this time, people who are anime only and watching this, I have some good news. You'll be able to go through this whole thing spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about any spoilers that are in here, anything like that. I mean, overall, it's... Don't you fucking dare. Before he kills me, I need to let you all know that in order to Okay. Welcome to the Arcs 1 to 3 review. Now that we got that whole thing out of the way, let me once again say, this will be a spoiler-free review. So, of course, if you're an anime only, you'll get to enjoy me talking about the arcs that you've probably already seen, but instead this time around, you get to hear my opinion of them, along with me making fun of the community's favorite punching bag company. So, yeah, that should be enjoyable. So, arcs 1 to 3, I've definitely been looking forward to covering these arcs, because other than occasionally bringing them up in the past, I haven't really discussed my overall opinions of them. At least, I don't think I really have. At most, there's these podcast episodes where I kind of go into it a little bit, but not really, right? I haven't really fully discussed my opinion on all these and everything. And, yeah, I was definitely looking forward to officially doing this now. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, this is pretty fucking quick. I mean, you're still on your quote-unquote reading break and everything, and I mean, how did you do it this quickly and everything? Within a month? That's faster than the Arc 7 stuff and the EX novel stuff and everything. You make a very fantastic point. let me let you in on a little secret, alright? There's a very simple way to go through these first few arcs, right? And it's efficient. That's the most important part. It's efficient. See, the anime cuts out shit, but the novel's pretty good. But there's a problem with the novel. You see, this right here, right? It's good, but there's a problem. This takes fucking forever to read. Now that's not entirely great. At least, you know, I think we would have that overall same understanding that that's not great to spend hours and hours reading through an arc that you probably already know the events of and everything. But some things are slightly different. I mean, I guess later with the third arc, a lot of stuff is different. I mean, we'll get to that. But, you know, might be less entertaining because you already know what's coming and everything. At least it would be for me. Now, this method, while it's good, right, it suffers from that problem. But what if I told you we have a good method for doing this? A very simple method that's fast, efficient, has all the cut content, and also very good art. The darkness was kind of blocking that, but now it's very visible. What if I told you we had an option like that? So yeah, if it wasn't obvious from the fact that, you know, I said we could get this done pretty quickly, I'd be using a different method from the average method people would use. The podcast episode is the last get into that was up last week and everything. If it wasn't really obvious, I did in fact use the manga to go through this. Now, the manga has a lot of fucking pros. In fact, I want to go into something with this after I list all these pros. But, you know, the big pros here are, number one, it's fast. Number two, it goes off the light novel, which is huge, right? Any content, any lines that are different, any character interactions that happen that don't really happen in the anime or some shit like that. That's there. It's in there. So, that's pretty nice. And number four, did I skip a number? I might have skipped a number. Don't know if I skipped a number. Who cares if I skipped a number? Number four. I genuinely gotta say I love the manga's art, both on Arc 1 and Arc 2. The Arc 2 is right here. Why did I point? I pointed here for Arc 1, but Arc 1's over there, and Arc 2 is over here. I mean, I guess Arc 2 is kind of over there. There's one volume over there, but then the other two are here. I don't have all of it. Volume 2, at least in terms of Canada, is very expensive, and I sadly do not have all of it. But we'll make our way there. But anyways, the art is fantastic, both Daiichi's art and also, yes, Makoto's. I wanted to make sure I was saying that correctly, although I don't know if I should say the other name, but you know what? I don't know how to pronounce the other name, so we're going to say Makoto. I hope that's alright. But both of their art is generally, like, really fantastic. I actually love it a lot. Honestly, I think I might like it more than the light novel art. Don't get me wrong, I actually really love the light novel art. Although there's something I'm going to go into with the light novel and the anime that this does 100 times better. But I will say, you know, it's pretty damn good art with the manga. I like it a lot. I like both art styles a lot. Haven't seen Arc 4's though. I've not checked Arc 4 out at all. I'm kind of curious if Arc 4 also has the cut content in there, like if it's adapting off the light novel. I kind of hope so. Let me know in the comments. I don't know if it does or not, and I don't plan on reading Arc 4 via that way. I absolutely plan on going with the web novel with Arc 4, but I'm just kind of curious myself, even though I could just check it out myself. I feel like I might not know, or I might not even remember the stuff that has to be in there in terms of cut content and everything. So I'm just kind of curious if it does. But other than that, yeah, I seriously love the art with the manga and everything from Arcs 1-3. And part of that is something I feel the manga does 100 times better than the anime and light novel. And that is, the deaths, the gore, all that. Because if we're being real here, the anime is not that bad with it, but it does take some liberties, right? It's not as gruesome as they depict in the text. And the light novel, look, I love the light novel art, but if we're talking about censored and all that, the light novel is absolutely the most censored out of all of them. It is honestly kind of insane. Like, I can think of one time with the light novel where it's not really censored, and that's with something with Arc 6. With the, final volume of Arc 6. That's the only thing that I can think of that it isn't censored. Other than that, I pretty much remember everything else just being, blood. There's no, actual visible injuries or anything like that, proper things, you know what I mean? Just blood. Whereas the manga here, Arcs 1 and 3 by Daichi, there definitely is a little bit of censoring almost there, but there are visible, proper injuries and stuff like that, right? If an arm is cut off, all that. If somebody's cut in half, you actually see they're cut in half. It's not some, kind of trick they do to make sure that they don't show the person cut in half, right? And Arc 2, oh my lord, I talked about it on the podcast, but, Makoto did not hold back when it came to drawing the scenes in Arc 2. They are certainly depicted. When you get that whole Arc 1 recap at the start of the first volume, and it shows the shit with Elsa, that certainly is Subaru's intestines falling out, and, the stuff with Arc 2, that certainly is half of his face gone and his brain matter scattered across the floor. That certainly is what it is. It's kind of like a great, I want to say, it sounds bad to say that, but I do kind of like that that's there. It's properly, depicted and everything, right? Even the small stuff, Ren, using wind magic to, cut open his throat. It's it looks like some actual Mortal Kombat type of shit, in terms of the throat being open. It's genuinely horrifying to look at, and I actually am really glad that, it was drawn like that. But I think that's enough praising for the manga and everything, because I think it's about time that we talk about all of these arcs and everything, in my opinion on them. Now, this video is going to be formatted differently than the average videos we do like this, because I don't think we have to split this up into sections, especially because I use the manga, on top of the fact that you all know the events probably, right? You've probably seen these events 100 times and everything, so I don't think I have to recap it or anything. But what I will do is I'll give my opinion on each arc. I'll talk about, my opinion now, going through it again and everything. And luckily I actually have watched the anime recently again, because of my brother getting into it. And then I might even talk about the exclusive content when it comes to Arc 2, and the exclusive content of the third arc. Oh my lord, when we get to that section, I'm gonna have a lot to say about a certain company, but before that, we have arcs 1 and 2 to talk about, of course. So let's move on to our first section of Arc 1. So Arc 1, what do I even say about this arc? It's a little bit odd talking about Arc 1, because, it's the starter arc, and there's not a whole lot that happens here. But I guess I can give my general opinion I had from when I first started. So obviously, starting off the series, you're going into this new story blind and everything, and you don't fully know what to expect. I mean, I kind of did. I knew about the whole Return by Death thing and everything, so I had a general idea of how stuff worked. But going into it for me, it seemed okay, right? I will say, it did hook me very quickly. I think Arc 1 really did get me just hooked right in. And it's a thing that the series has done as I've watched it as a whole and read it as a whole. But especially, just starting off with Arc 1 and everything, first episode was an immediate hook, which is shocking because usually with a show, it takes me a bit, right? It'll usually take me a bit and then I'll get into it and everything. But Arc 1 really just got me right off the bat. And I'm really happy about that. But it's like, man, shit goes from, like, literally just a 0 to 100 with Arc 1. And I like that a lot. Or, more so I like that a lot. And I still do. But going into it for the first time, right? Going into this with a blind overall experience of just like, okay, he's interacting with this silver-haired girl and everything, and then there's a cat creature, all this, cool, neat, here's magic, here's how this shit is kinda, I expected this is a fantasy world, okay, there's this, there's that, there's these important names that are being thrown around and all this shit, and this important stuff being thrown around, a little bit here and there, right? And then, you get the first death and everything, it's like, oh, alright, that was interesting, and I will say, with something like this, because episode 1, which I know is different with the manga, but just going via my first experience, episode 1 is an hour long, and it goes through the first 2 deaths, and I think that was a genuine, really good idea from Whitebox, and obviously, I feel like one episode wouldn't really be enough, one episode's worth of time wouldn't really be enough for a proper first episode of this series. But it's genuinely a really good hook of you see this first death and it's like, oh shit, okay, that's a problem. Okay, he resets, now he's gonna redo this scenario, but maybe it'll be different this time. But then he dies again. And it has me thinking, shit, what does he do, right? And this becomes the question I constantly ask myself as each and every arc pass on. But it's like, fuck, what does he do in this scenario? How does he get out of this and everything? And honestly, I like Arc 1 a lot, right? I'm going through it, I really enjoyed it. Seeing Reinhardt was cool. Felt was interesting. Old Man Ron I was liking a whole lot. Also seemed pretty cool, right? And I was starting to really enjoy, our main character, right? Like Subaru, and then there's Amelia, all that. Puck's a funny little cat creature, all this, right? Overall, I was getting a good feel for the characters, which is a good important thing for a series, right? Getting into it and everything is getting that good feel with these characters. And I like that a lot, right? But I will say Arc 1's biggest problem, and this is a problem that is kind of generally known, is it's the starter arc, and it is incredibly short. It is equivalent to, technically 4 episodes. In terms of actual length, it's 4 episodes long. But 4 episodes, and in terms of the light novel, is 1 volume long. And in terms of the manga, it's 2 volumes long, which sounds like it's somehow a bit longer or anything, but really it's not that much longer. It's just the manga is kind of more compact with all the stuff in there. It's very short with chapters and everything, right? Or maybe not short with chapters, but more so it'll have maybe 4 chapters per volume, so logically, yeah, you go by the events pretty damn quickly. But I think Arc 1's biggest problem there is overall just how short it is. Now, rewatching it and everything, going through it again with the manga and all this, not much has super changed a lot. Obviously, the stuff with Reinhardt getting the badge and everything from Felt's hand is interesting because it's oh shit, he saw the light shine. I see. That makes so much sense now. Or the shit with Elsa, oh wait, she was contracted to get the badge, and I know who did it, and I know who did that, right? And all this shit. It's it's interesting to know after, you've gone further in the anime and everything. And it does make it better, but I think it still does suffer from the problem of being too short. Now that's not too big of a problem. I still think Arc 1's fantastic, right? But it's like, it does still have that problem of like, even on a rewatch or a reread, not much is gonna change. Characters, I guess, will be more appealing to me because I've, seen more of them now, right? I've seen more about them and all this shit. So now I'm more like intrigued and everything to just rewatch these scenes, see them acting and all this, possibly see something that's like, oh wait, this makes sense because of stuff later, right? Stuff like that. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of stuff there, right? It's the unfortunate problem it suffers from, but I think, overall, Arc 1's still good. And I mean, hey, luckily, we don't have to mention any cut content stuff or any exclusive content yet. So, this section's actually pretty damn short. So, I guess it's time to move on to the section that'll be a bit longer, and that's Arc 2. Now, Arc 2, I get to have fun talking about this section. Okay, so my first watch through of Arc 2 was real interesting, right? I'm gonna get it out of the way right off the bat and say that Arc 2 does kind of have this similar problem to Arc 1, where it's short, not as short of course, it has enough there that it can establish a decently large story for the arc, but it is shorter than literally every arc that comes after it, right? Light novel wise, 2 volumes long, manga wise, 4, but there's another one, but we'll get to that at the end of this section. But overall, right, it's like still decently short for the series. But I will say, at least for me, right, my first time watching through, this arc was fantastic. I've mentioned this story before, but I was staying up watching the series, and it was like 8, 9 o'clock by the time I got done Arc 2. It was like, it was the constant state of, okay, one more episode, because I'm gonna be honest, I really enjoyed Arc 2. I felt like there was a lot there I wanted to know. The characters I was getting introduced to, I was really enjoying a lot. One of them I didn't think I was gonna enjoy, and then hopefully it's in view, but I mean, do I need to explain myself? Especially if you've seen the other reviews, do I need to explain myself? But, man, this arc, my first time watching through it was a genuine joy. I got super fucking hooked from this, right? Arc 1 did a good job getting me intrigued and being like, okay, I can't wait to see what comes next. Arc 2 did a fantastic job at hooking me in the way of, okay, I'm going to now spend the next few days watching this series. Like, that is all I'm gonna do. Because I was enjoying so much out of this shit, right? I was so curious what was going on, right? This stuff with Subaru, what the fuck is this witch stuff they're talking about? This scent on him that they're talking about, all this. I was really fucking curious. The witch cult that they just bring up in there, right? Or you more so see, right? That I was very much, looking forward to for what comes next and everything. And I enjoyed it a whole lot. I really did. There's a lot of really great moments in here for me and everything. A lot of them just so happen to involve. Now, it should be noted, this was not the arc that she became my favorite character. Just want to get that out of the way. I mentioned it before. That's the third arc. We'll get into that. In fact, I have even more to say about that now because of what I kind of alluded to at the start and everything. But, this arc did very much help support that opinion and everything. Ren became a very fucking good character overall throughout this arc. I was very intrigued. Unfortunately, because of certain games and everything, I knew that she would be the kind of secondary antagonist here, right? Because I had seen that she had the Morning Star, and then, I start watching the series, and I hear the sound of chains, And my immediate reaction is, oh, she's the villain, huh? And that, yeah, I unfortunately got spoiled that way, which is funny because I've had a good friend of mine, and also my brother, who both knew that she had the Morning Star. Both of them assumed it was Ram, though, which I find really fucking funny. But, yeah, overall, Arc 2 was pretty fucking great for my first time watching. Now, rewatching it, how did I feel? I'm gonna be honest. Wasn't as good. Don't get me wrong, still a very good arc, right? I still feel it's very good. I would hold it higher than Arc 1. But rewatching it, I did definitely start to notice some flaws here and there, right? Because in the moment, you're really enjoying it. You're like super hyper fixated on all this shit, right? So at that moment, you're focusing on the good, or at least for me, I was focusing on all the good and not some of the parts that, you know, stayed a little bit too long. But rewatching it, oh boy, what to say? I mean, okay, so there's a, you know, few loops here with this arc, and it creates a few problems. The main one being we go through the whole chores type of thing a lot, and I get it's obviously for building this character for Subaru, you know, towards Ram and Ram and all that, right? And overall, building that suspicion that's occasionally there about him, about the scent he has, all this, right? And it's also solving the mystery of the holograms and all that. And, like, I get that, but it does go on for a bit long here, especially, I think, like, episode, I want to say 8? I think it's episode 8. It just, the whole episode is kind of just that. And don't get me wrong, that episode ends off in a good way overall, right? I like how that episode ends. It's a good, genuine, raw moment. But other than that, that episode does kind of just keep going with that and everything. And it does explain important stuff, of course. But it really goes on with that. And even manga-wise, I felt like that, right? Going through the manga, I still felt like, it's going a little bit long with some of this stuff and everything. Now, don't get me wrong, I still do love a lot of this stuff. I love that suspense building to Ren being the villain, or secondary antagonist, not villain, but like antagonist, because I would deem those two terms to be separate, right? Episode 7, right, of the anime is still fantastic. That's easily one of the best episodes in the series. You know, just, like, not manga-wise or anything, I just more so mean like that episode, how it's structured, the voice acting, all this animation on it. I think that episode's great, genuinely. And I mean, the good news is Arc 2 doesn't really have much cut content or anything, so it's not like the anime adaptation of this was bad, necessarily, right? I'd say Arc 2's adaptation is pretty damn good. But, and also, of course, I still do really love the scene of, like, Ren becoming a demon and just going absolutely berserk. You know, Subaru trying to fight the giant Oligarm and everything. Him speaking to Ren after all that. I do love this stuff still, but there's flaws. There is noticeable flaws on a second run through, and it's unfortunate, but it's to be expected, I guess. I mean, not every arc's going to be perfect. They will have flaws. I've noted that by now, right, with the arcs I've gone through and everything. But, yeah, it definitely could have been shortened on some of the time with some of the loops and everything. Now, normally, this is where we'd be done this section. But luckily, since I'm using the manga, we have the gift of this volume. Which, interesting cover art choice. But we have the gift of this. And let me tell you, I'm very happy this was included. So, to essentially explain what's in this, it is a collection of side stories that was adapted into the manga. A few of them, I mean, it's kind of just nice that they're there because of some of the things they go through. Some of them are just more simple stuff that just kind of funny to read and all that type of shit. The very first side story, I certainly wasn't expecting to see, I'm going to say that art drawn, but it was. I mean, it was censored, I think, for the most part. You know, not that there's any problem if it wasn't, but all I'm saying is I was not expecting that at all out of this series, right? You know, usually that's what they make the merch for. I didn't think they would just straight up have it on view. But yeah, the other side stories though were definitely pretty fun to read and everything. One of them being the creation of mayonnaise and everything, which I'm very happy with in there. That is, like I've mentioned on the podcast and everything, one of my favorite jokes in the series because of, you know, what it builds up to and everything. And now that I understand more about that joke, it is even funnier because it's literally just Ren took something Subaru said too literally and made a bath out of mayonnaise. Because he just mentioned something about like soaking in it, or like he could die if he didn't soak in it or some shit around those lines. But another side story that's in here, I wasn't expecting to see it, but I'm very glad it is here. It almost makes me want to just like fully tell people to absolutely read via the manga. I mean, I kind of do want to tell people to read via the manga because I think it's the most fast and efficient way to do so, right? Some people might be turned away from the novel and everything, and it's understandable. It takes a while to go through, right? And I don't recommend fully the anime, even though, yeah, that's how most people got into it and everything. But with the amount of cut stuff that's there later, I don't know that it's the greatest, right? Either method kind of works, but it's like, honestly, out of the most ideal, I'd say the manga, but it's like, especially with this, I would almost say I might want to fully just recommend people the manga, because one of these side stories in here is the Natsumi Schwartz stuff. At least the first bit of it. Now, you might be confused on why that stuff is important. And let me tell you, it is. Kind of. But it is, overall. And I'm glad it is in there. I wasn't expecting to see it, and I'm glad it was there because I actually kind of got to experience that side story now, so I'm glad. You know, fitting timing, I'd say. But, yeah, honestly, there's a lot of side stories just packed in there, and it's really nice. You also get the Ren's Happy Day one adapted in there, which I actually... That is one of the few side stories that I actually did read, and I was shocked to see it in there. But, yeah, it's in there. That's pretty nice. Yeah, overall, I am very glad that stuff's in there, because you get to see a whole lot of the side content, which does count as canon events in the story. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But anyways, you know, we've mentioned the anime a lot and everything, and I've been praising it a little bit for stuff here and there, and I mean, there's some stuff to praise it for in the next section, but let's move on to the third arc section, shall we? So I know a lot of you said that the cut content was bad, and I mean, I knew that the third arc's cut content was bad. I've seen it on the WCT site, the amount of shit that's there that's just important that they just took out for whatever reason. That kind of sucks, right? I didn't realize that certain interactions were also just different. There's just stuff that happens that is not the same at all to the anime. And I mean, I could kind of tell with Arc 1 and 2, there was occasional times where stuff did not happen the same that it did in the anime. But especially here, dude, holy shit. So, I guess let's start off with my first time going through the Bird arc. I will say, I loved it, right? Even with all the cut content, I gotta say, this arc was my favorite. Even going through, arc 4 or the second season, however we want to word it, right? Even after going through that, and knowing about the cut content there, right? Even reading up on that, I still, held the third arc higher. And I still technically do hold it higher than arc 4. I don't hold it higher than the currently not animated stuff, but I do still hold it pretty damn high, right? It gets 4th place right now. May end up lower depending on, future arcs and everything, but it'll still be at a spot that I feel is a good spot. Now, first time going through the third arc, I fucking loved it, dude. It was quite the journey to go through. There is just so much shit that happens in this arc at once. Royal Selection stuff got me interested because I was like, oh, okay, this is the stuff that we're referring to. This is an interesting, big story point to go on. And you got episode 13, the most uncomfortable episode ever. I hate rewatching it. It's good, right? Here's the problem. It's a good episode. It's really good. In fact, it's part of what makes the third arc so good for me. But my god, any chance I can get to skip it, I will do it. It is so uncomfortable to watch that whole episode, or maybe not the whole thing, but 75% of that episode is uncomfortable to watch. Episode 14, catches me off guard and all this shit. My first time through, I'm like, okay, well, we already have our next threat and everything. I thought the situation was going to be okay, but it's not. Uh-oh. Episode 15 is among 1 out of 3 of my favorite anime episodes of all time. It's competing with a Fist of the North Star episode, and shockingly, an anime that is in my number 5 spot, I believe, in terms of my top 10 anime, a Devilman episode. If you've seen Devilman, I feel like it should overall be obvious on what it is and everything. Mostly because I think that episode handled it better than the manga did and everything. But we're getting off track with that comment. But episode 15 is fucking fantastic. I talked about it on the Get Into. If I remake that Get Into, which I actually kind of plan on doing, we'll get into that part as well, because I have something to mention about that, considering the time that this video is going up. But, episode 15, I talked about in the Get Into, it is a fantastic episode. It really helped push to become my favorite character and all that, right? It was really great. Episode 16 also was pretty damn good. I will say, first watch through and watching it again, episode 16 almost feels longer than it should be, and it's not, but it almost feels like just a little bit longer than it actually is or anything. It almost has that Mark II problem is what I mean. It doesn't really, but I don't know. Sitting through it once and sitting through it again, it almost felt like that. But then, of course, you get the White Whale. I'm interested in the White Whale now. And then episode 17 happens. The White Whale's able to make people just fucking forget that somebody exists and patch out that shit, right? So now nobody remembers them and all this. And you get episode 18. And that was the episode that decided it for me. And then, you get the entire White Whale fight from that point onward, and the stuff with Wilhelm and all that. And then you get the Bellevue stuff and all this, and it's it all combines perfectly to be these great fights and everything, great plot moments and all this that I really fucking enjoyed. And then you get the finale to the third arc, the proper finale, the season 2 episode 1 finale, because they probably didn't want to end it on a cliffhanger. And you know what? I don't blame them, considering how popular this character is. And I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again here, because I feel like it's just better if I tell it again here. But this is genuinely what happened to me on my first watch through of this episode, right? Sitting down, and I'm like, okay, I'm very excited to see what season 2 has in store. Let's see, right? I didn't know that this was the actual ending of the third arc, but overall I was just sitting there thinking, I'm excited to see how season 2 starts. Let's see where we go from here. What's going to be the next big challenge, right? And before I even click play, I'm like, you know, it'd be funny if we started this episode and they like had some joke of like, oh, who's a Rem and everything, right? And then it's just like, oh, it's just like a little scare and everything, but everything's okay after that, right? And I get 2 minutes into the episode, and I have to pause it, get up, go get a drink, come back, sit down, sit in like 5 minutes of silence, just holding my head, and then after that 5 minutes I go, okay, continue. I was distraught, dude, right? It's, to give a genuine answer, I guess, to how this episode really made me feel. I've mentioned it to some people before. I like to use a One Piece quote a lot. Nia, try not to bring up One Piece in some way while talking about ReZero Challenge. But genuinely, I like to use a One Piece quote here that I think really fits in. And like I've used this quote when I like kind of saw this episode, or a little bit after, right? And I was just describing it to some people without actually spoiling anything. But there's a quote in One Piece that's said by Kaido, where he mentions the fact that like death completes a person, right? You know, they live their life and then death completes it. All this type of shit, right? They live that legacy they have. And it made me realize something with that quote of death completes a person, and that works for like an anime and stuff like that, right? I see a character die in an anime, and overall that has completed some sort of story arc for them, right? This has wrapped up what was probably there, especially a good death. A good death can really just absolutely wrap that shit up, and it's like, that was great, that was fantastic. I'm distraught that they're dead, but you know what, that was great, they ended that perfectly. It's an entirely separate feeling. It is a hollow feeling when it is not death that affects that character, but a coma. That is a new feeling I have not felt, and let me be real here. I have felt that hollow type of feeling before with animes, because I've gone through a lot. I've gone through animes that literally made me watch every single character die except for the main villain. And that shit, you know, really made me distraught and everything. This broke me in a brand new way though, because I just, you know, I haven't experienced enough, I will say, but I've never experienced this, right? I've never experienced this feeling with a character, especially one that became my favorite, right? The worst part is, fucking, you know, after reading the manga and everything, I was sitting there thinking to myself, Teppei fucking knew. And, like, obviously he did, but he knew exactly of, I'm going to make this arc just focus on making this character great, right? And even like with the manga, right? With the manga slash light novel slash web novel. Actually, I don't know about the web novel, because from what I've heard, the web novel is slightly different for the third arc, especially in some areas, and I don't know if I want to read it in those areas, but overall, like, the third arc starts off in the light novel and manga with Ran saying to make sure that Ren doesn't do anything stupid and all that, right? Like, she's saying that to Subaru. And it's such a perfect, just, you know, loop, essentially, of that quote, and then you get to this moment, like this episode, right? This chapter, and it's just like, it was all building up to this constant, you know, episode 15, episode 14, all this shit, episode 18 especially, right, like the From Zero chapter, all of it was building up to this character great, sure, and showing that she viewed Subaru as a hero and all this, right, and the support she has towards him. But the bigger thing was all of it was building up to this moment, and it's painful, but oh my god, is it good. So anyways, without going into this on my first watch through and everything like too much and just going a little bit off topic with this too much, rewatching it and rereading it, I think I have to separate these two because it's just there's some shit of course I have to talk about with rereading. So let's go with rewatching. Knowing the cut content, there was definitely some stupid shit missing here. And I'll especially go with that, or go into that with the rereading. But I will say, I still very much enjoyed the further work, which might sound like a weird thing, right? Because out of what's currently animated, it's my favorite. That might change, of course, depending on what happens this week that this is going up, which actually by this point it possibly has already happened. But we'll get into that. Just wait till later. But you know, despite being my favorite and everything, and obviously I want the absolute best treatment out of it for the series and everything, I still enjoyed it a lot on a rewatch. There's still a lot here that I still feel the same way I did before. I still have a gut-wrenching feeling when I get to that episode I was just fucking talking about. Episode 15 is still fantastic to me. Episode 13 is still painful to watch. Episode 18 is still really fucking good, right? I won't lie, I get it. It's quite the thing to admit, but I do get close to a little bit teary-eyed and everything on episode 18. I don't tear up. I get a little bit close, okay? It's just a little bit close. But genuinely that episode is really fucking raw and everything. And I really enjoyed it a lot. And White Whale Fight is fantastic, right? It's weird, right? There's cut content here and there's stuff that's changed and it's like, I'm mad. I'm genuinely mad that there's stuff here that isn't proper. But my god, I love this, and I'll get into another thing about this in a moment. Rereading it though, or reading through it I guess, but rereading in the sense that, you know, I'm going through it again, but now through a reading format. Oh my god, the amount of shit that's different. Alright, let's list a couple of things, shall we? The thieves being stopped by Old Man Rom, that doesn't happen, that's actually Ren. You get a funny little moment there with her and Subaru. You get a more genuine conversation between Subaru and Emilia within that moment that almost is building, I want to say that distrust in a way between her, like, to him, right? That eventually, you know, cracks with what is equivalent to episode 13 and all that, right? But, like, you get that there, and that's really great, but that's cut out from the anime. The stuff with Al is cut out from the anime, Al being from another world as well, and, like, being from Earth as well, that's cut out. I'm just gonna list it off, honestly, a lot of the cut stuff. Felt being supposedly part of the, like, royal bloodline of, like, Lagunica and everything, that's cut out, or the implications of that. Puck showing up and having the whole Beast of the End name dropped in that, like, whole royal selection scene, that's, you know, taken out. The thing about Al being disgusted about Ren having a sister and all this shit, right? Like a twin sister and all this and everything, and we don't understand, and Ren feels like kind of threatened by him, and so does Subaru, because in the moment, like, yeah, it's kind of tense and everything, right? Just all that shit's cut out. You know, relating to the whole fucking coma episode and everything, the Wilhelm's comment about his wound is cut out. That is insanely important. I don't know why that was cut out, but it is. I'm like trying to just list off everything, but there's so much shit. And there's also interactions here that are cut out that make me upset, right? There's one interaction in specific, and it's during what is equivalent to episode 14. This section is cut out entirely from the anime, because they essentially, for this part, have Rem's VA, like, just reading off the letter that she writes, right? But with the manga and the light novel, there's a moment here where Subaru is talking to Otto, because this is when he meets Otto. And I feel like this moment is what really helps build this friendship between them. Which, yes, I know this is a failed loop, but I feel like this is what gets Subaru to almost open up with him more and everything. And it's the fact that Otto is one of few people to actually admit he's perfectly cool with Emilia, right? Because he feels like he was discriminated on because of, you know, all the stuff with him and everything before, so he can understand where she's coming from, and he wishes her good luck. And I like that moment a lot. It's really good, and it also shows, you know, of course some people are willing to support Emilia, even if knowing certain things is like, you know, there's like certain stuff there that's like, oh, you know, this could be a bad omen and all this shit, right? There's so much stuff that's cut out here in terms of interactions and everything, and it upsets me that it's cut out because of like all this shit. Like some of it, like Rem's jealousy, right? Rem has some jealousy towards the other people in the mansion of getting to spend a lot of time with Subaru and all that, and that gets cut out and everything. And it's like, there's so much stuff here that I just wish was in the actual, like, I now get why people are upset. I really do now get why people are upset, because it's like, why wasn't this in? Why was it so hard not to include, or like to include? Somehow they just felt like, nah, we shouldn't include that. For whatever reason, for a lot of stuff, and I don't get it. Because a lot of it's really fucking important, or it helps build the character. I'm gonna be honest, the whole coma thing with Rem, that would hit me way harder with these added interactions. I mean, it still hit me pretty hard, but oh my god, I'd be even more distraught with all this shit, right? It would be so much fucking worse in terms of like how hard it hit me, right? But it's just not there, and it upsets me. But this is the point where I want to speak about something that I was alluding to. And it's, the third arc has had a bizarre effect on me. Because even though it upsets me with this shit, I'm gonna be honest, out of every arc in the series, even though I prefer, you know, Arc 7, Arc 5, and Arc 6 more, not to say, of course, that the third arc is bad, it just means that I prefer those three more, right? Even though I prefer those three, and everything like that, and I think the anime cuts out a whole lot. If I had to be real here, if there was an arc that I had to just, you know, if I got the wish to forget everything about an arc and go through it blind again, whether it's like via the manga or the anime, or whatever it may be, even with the anime's cut content and all that, right, like just all the stuff being cut out, it would absolutely be this arc. Because, I don't know, man, this arc is really fucking enjoyable. And it's partially why I hold it so high and I hold it above Arc 4, right? And I understand how some people could like Arc 4 more, right? I totally get it. I liked Arc 4 a whole lot myself. But there's so much shit to the third arc that I love that, like, rereading it, I'm not gonna lie, going through it via the manga and seeing all these interactions and everything made me sit there and think, fuck, do I want to put this above 7? 7's not even done yet. I haven't even decided if I'm putting 7 above 5 or something, right? I was also thinking about, like, damn, am I possibly putting it above 5? Just, like, screwing that over, but it's like, I don't know, the third arc has a weird effect where it's just so good, right? I don't, like, it's here's the thing. I've worded it to people that the third arc, in terms of events, is more linear than the other arcs. Like Arc 4, kind of surprises you with some of the stuff that happens here and there. The loops aren't always expected. Whereas the third arc kind of goes down every single scenario overall in terms of like the problems and the antagonists and the, like all these enemies, right? But even with all that, it's a weird. This arc just has this effect where I'm like, fuck. Like, I would love to go through this again, just totally blind. And the most unfortunate part is, I rewatched this show. I guess I've gone through the series a lot at this point, via going through the manga and everything as well. But in terms of rewatching, I've gone through it a lot. But specifically within the first month or two of me first getting into the series, I shit you not, I went through it 4 times. One on my own, and then the other times being with good friends, right? Them getting into the series and everything. Out of all those times, would you like to guess how many times I went through the third arc again? Which might sound weird, but I'm going to explain something. First, my own experience. Obviously, I went through the whole thing. Loved it. Next, I went through it with another friend, right? Another good friend of mine. We watched it dubbed. I felt like, man, dubbed's pretty damn good, right, for this series, and they managed to handle this arc really well. I like this, right? I like how they did this. They did this well. But, like now I got both experiences. That's interesting. Okay. Another good friend. We started it. We started it a year ago or something like that. By this point, I'm being patient with him because he occasionally likes to watch and everything. Right? It's very occasional, and I'm cool with that. I'm very patient in terms of that type of shit. Right? Whenever people want to watch something, I'll wait. Right? I'll wait whenever they're like available or whenever they feel the mood. So we're on episode 19, by the way. It was like a year ago when we were on the third arc. We're on episode 19, by the way, currently. But, yeah, so that's that. And then the last one, I sadly did not get to watch it with, because he had been on a flight, and he was just going to watch it while he was on his flight to essentially pass the time because he was really enjoying it. And, I didn't actually have the best experience with the third arc, but I think it's because he was watching it in bulk. He was forcing himself to watch it. Because I think the third arc is really fucking good, and I don't really see fully how somebody couldn't enjoy it who was enjoying the series a whole lot. But obviously, if somebody has that opinion, and they went through it again or something and like fully confirmed it, then yeah, they have that opinion. I'm not going to judge them fully. It just almost seems odd if they were forcing themselves to go through it, right? But obviously I didn't get to watch it that way. So in total, I got to rewatch pretty much a lot of the arcs. Like I rewatched Arc 4 twice, Arc 2 3 times, Arc 1 I think actually twice for Arc 1 because I think the other good friend watched it at the same time as one of them was. But overall, Arcs 1 and 3 were the ones I watched the least in terms of rewatching, right? And it made me really happy when I got to go through it with my brother, right? And then I got to rewatch it again and I got to enjoy it again. I will say, I almost want to rewatch it again myself because I'm not really, at the moment, I'm not really huge on rewatching the whole series over again, right? I think, oddly enough, I think I need a break and everything. But I won't lie, it's been a while since I've seen it subbed. Mostly because the last time I seen it subbed was with that friend who I'm occasionally watching with, right? But other than that, the last time I watched it subbed was my own experience. And, you know, I like the dub, don't get me wrong, I do think the dub's pretty damn good, but I think the sub voices are legit perfect. I think everybody who was chosen for the sub voices are actually perfect. But it's been a while since I've gone through it, and it makes me really debate, like, damn, I want to do that again, right? I don't want to rewatch any other arc. I don't want to read through any other arc that I've already gone through, like even arc 5 and 6, which I love. I don't want to read through them again. But I almost want to rewatch this and just enjoy it again. I fucking love this arc, dude. It is, even with the faults that the anime has, it is still really good to me, right? And there's problems, and it angers me with those problems. But it's a weird thing where it's like, you know, it angers me, but I still love it, right? It's almost like a guilty pleasure type of thing, where it's like, I don't want to like it, in a way. But it's like, I have to, it's so good. Yeah, overall, that's the third arc for me. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Now, normally this is where I'd end it off. But we got two things to talk about, and I'll talk about the second thing in a moment, because I think we'll just mention the first for the sake of non-spoilers, or at least the second thing I want to talk about spoiler stuff, even though I don't have to talk about spoiler stuff with it. I want to. And that's the fact that this week, right, first off, this week, I know that there's a ReZero event. If there was something that was announced, perhaps an Arc 5 trailer or something, you've probably already seen the reaction or some shit on the channel. It'll probably be there. If it is, here's a card. If there was nothing interesting, then there's no card. But I mean, that looks a little bit silly then. But, you know, if there was overall something, you'll see a card for my reaction to that. And I'm definitely, right, after going through that whole section about the third arc, I'm definitely nervous, but I'm also excited, right? I now have that feeling of, I'm scared of what could happen to Arc 5, but I'm also excited to just have Arc 5 animated. Also, I put down a bet, as you know, about Arc 5 and a certain voice actress, so I hope I'm right. But also, related to that, I can't wait to see that character animated. I'm going to be very happy. But, yeah, it's a weird feeling, where if it, you know, Arc 5 does get animated, I'm gonna have that nervous feeling of shit, they might cut out a whole lot of important stuff. Hey, White Fox cut out Liliana. But, you know, overall, I'll have that feeling. But at the same time, I'll probably go through it and enjoy it a whole lot. Also, if Arc 5 is happening, as I mentioned, I'll do actual reactions to the episodes when they come out, or at least hopefully around the time that they come out. I might be busy around the time that they officially come out. But if I'm not busy and I can totally watch it, we'll just watch it, we'll live stream it, all that. I'll probably have a timer just in terms of like watching, just to sync it up, right? I don't really want to do the thing where sometimes people just put the video there. I'm not risking that, right? So I think we'll just do the timer, and then we'll see about a secondary option, right? I do have a second channel. We'll see about a secondary option. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they announce there, if they have anything big to announce. Anything like any big games that aren't visual novels. Don't get me wrong, I like the story of the visual novels and stuff like that. But as games, anime stuff might be interesting. And I think I mentioned it on the community post, but hopefully they restock some merch in terms of like hats and everything. That From Zero hat is kind of nice. But yeah, the second thing to talk about, I'm now going to say some spoiler stuff, so if you are anime only or something like that, I hope you all enjoyed watching. Take care, have yourselves a good night, and I'll see you with whatever's next that you may be excited to see on the channel. Alright, so now that those people are gone, so something happened before, well, not before the last Arc 7 review went up, or I guess not last, but you know, the Arc 7 review went up. But it happened after I actually made that review along with the follow-up video. Yeah, something pretty interesting happened. So, the Isekai Quartet movie, which I don't really care about a whole lot. At some point I might check the series out, but if we're being real here, I like 3 of the shows in there, and I'm not too big of a fan of 2 of them. So, right. I don't know if it's exactly for me or anything. But I do know that it got a movie. And from what I understand, there was a character in that movie who was attributed to ReZero, which was weird because we'd never seen a character like that character in ReZero or anything like that. And then we got the side story and all the details and everything about the character. And you know, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I've wanted to say for a while that Teppei will, out of nowhere, sometimes just reveal the craziest shit possible. Just randomly. Just if he feels like it. You know, part of a movie, something like that. Eat 40,000 fucking Insta ramen cups, something like that, and you'll get a side story, some shit like that. You know, he'll do something crazy sometimes and reveal some shit, and oh my lord. So we got to see Mr. Hoshin himself, the Hoshin, on the movie. And we got the side story about him. And we got to learn about his relationship with Flugel and Satella and all that. Which, you know, big thing that implies he's one of the hands that was on that area in Arc 6. But yeah, I don't know what to really say about this because I haven't actually fully read the side story myself just yet. I've just seen the details about it overall and everything. So, you know, it's interesting. The fact that it was revealed via a movie type of thing is also interesting. I out of all the things to reveal here, it's like, what the fuck? You reveal a character this big via, like, I really don't have much to say about the second. It's just like, really? Via this is how we're doing it. Okay, that's cool. It's fucking wild and kind of funny, but like, oh my lord, okay. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about that. So that's about it for the video. I just wanted to bring that up because that was interesting. And I don't really have much else to say about it. But I didn't get to bring it up with the last video because, you know, this happened before we had that info. Right? I recorded that shit before we had that info. At least from what I understand we did. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the shirt, by the way. It might not be seeable, but I wore this obviously on purpose. But I might have to like go up here. Just, this is not working. That was a bit loud. Hope you enjoyed the shirt, which you might not be able to fully see. But if I do this, oh yeah, you see, there you go. You can see the big old Echidna shirt. Wanted to show that off just for fun. Yeah, this shirt is real nice. I actually like it a lot. Pretty comfy, and also it's just the entire Echidna speech. I was going to save this for the Arc 4 video, but seeing as I already brought it up in the podcast, it was a little bit too late. But yeah, it's a funny little shirt. I just wanted to show it off just because I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, I think I've expressed everything I need to about Mr. fucking Hoshin and, you know, the possible announcements, and also my feelings on the arcs, which is the main point of this video. I just kind of got sidetracked with those last 2 things. But yeah, take care, have yourself a good night, and we'll see you with the update video, actually, that's coming up next week. So take care. See you then. There'll be some important updates there. And yeah,